Welcome back to Lambretta-Lutz. Today in this part we will have an exciting job. We will install the crankshaft in the fusing housing, and I try to support the leak down test. Also, I will do it this time in a different way. I will just do it with one side and one barrel first to demonstrate a special situation. And now we're stepping forward. So here you can see the whole twin drive shaft and crankshaft with a lot of parts and new parts that you're normally not knowing from a Lambretta engine. So I will explain you the order of installation and the necessary sealings that you have to use, and bearings as well. So we're starting from the drive side crankshaft. We have this normal drive side bearing that in this case is a double close one. You had to get one lip out, and you install this in the crankcase of Lambretta. You have your, and it's a recommendation to use a Vuitton style that comes into the plate for the drive side bearing. When you have this, the crankshaft goes inside the crankshaft from the case. The next step is you have to install this special. In order it is built like this, but in the installation it is in a different way. First, this very special dual-lipped seal goes into the housing and you put it inside here. So when that is installed, you have to put the inner ring on the inner ring of the crankshaft onto the shaft from this coupling part. This bearings going inside, and you will secure it with this clamp. So if this is installed, I will do something special now. I will then install the fusing housing. I will seal it as well, not with silicone. I will just do it with a paper sealing and with some grease. And I will install even the barrel then and the head to try to perform a leak down test. Let's step forward. What are the next? A very important thing, and please look that you have it in a kit, is this little O-ring. Where is it going to be? It comes here at this position over the shaft from the coupling part, and it will sit here inside the coupling part so that the connection between the crankshaft sides are sealed. And then the other sealing of and separation of the crankshaft is with this special seal ring. So what we have, we put already with all the bearings the crankshaft on this side. And then the next step is, I will show it in detail then, you have to put this Rudolph keys and the clamp with this fillet upside towards to the flywheel side into the housing and coupling the crankshaft side. The next thing is then the bearing. You put the bearing inside and secure it with the clamp. The inner ring has to go on the crankshaft. So, and then here is a normal MAC housing side. You're taking again a Vuitton inner seal ring. You are taking the inner ring from the flywheel side bearing on the crankshaft. This goes into the MAC housing. Give me a sec. So that goes this, and this is as normally known, and you will secure it all with this clamp. So, and that is a theory of how to install the whole twin crankshaft, and now we go into action. I separate the things now in a different order. Why I do so? I want to explain that this, and this parts are all going into the refrige or even in a freezer to cool them down. While this inner ring, the housing, this inner ring and the other one, I will put into the oven to heat it up to approximately 90 to 80 degrees to have a more easy fit. You can perform that with a heating gun or whatever as well, but I do it this way, and to avoid that this ring's getting too hot. And as this mug housing is already with grease and other things contaminated, I will not put it in the oven. I will put it on a heating plate. So I will do this step now, and then we stepping forward to the installation. In between, I will get out this one here to have then the upgraded drive side plate installed and ready. To prepare the things to put in the different places like heater and oven, we can already put here the one side out. Normally I do this side where you not have the marked information from the bearing. So you see, it's easily to pop out with a screwdriver. So, and then you have this one still in oil, and this one gives you a little bit of extra protection for the oil and leakage to the crankshaft. And proper seal, this is doing the sealing. This one really doesn't help, but many people are using it. In this case, we will use it as well. And the rest, I will clean up a little bit so that it's not all in the freezer. I will not clean it completely with a brake cleaner or something. It is okay to do it this way. And I prepare this as well to have them then all either heated or cooled down. While the things are preheating and in a freezer, I will prepare the case and the mug housing. Again, I'm really surprised about the quality that here inside the crankcase of the original Uni. So if you see this very good seal that was really sitting in a very tight way, and if you see the bearings, that is the NRB yes produced in India, but it looks very good. To heating up this Uni mug housing with the bearing to change it, I will use this kind of old heating plate that is very useful, and then it brings equal heat into the mug housing, and then I just simply will pop out the bearing and have the other one already prepared to put it in one step already in as well. So I will change the globes to more protectable for the heat while this is heating up slowly. So I give it a little bit more heat. Let's see. And now from the temperature, that should be okay. Yeah, and you see it easily drops out. The last millimeter I will go here on the corner. And one more, and it will be out. So, and it's out. This can go into the crankshaft that we deinstalled from the Unikit and can be further used because it looks really good and also from the quality, and it's brand new, so should be sustainable to work with this. This I will clean up a little bit, and then I keep it on the heating plate so that we directly then can install the bearing, the new one, that has been in a freezer for a while. So I will now turn it upside down so that just the heat is remaining. I will clean up this. Still hot, but okay. So that keeps inside. This I will take away. Still all hot. So that is good to cool down. Means it should be an easy job. Nevertheless, this is to give it a knock on the top if it would not go straight in. So leaving this here, putting this inside. Oh, it's not working. That is interesting. And clap. So set. So I will wait until it is a little bit more cooled down to put then the rim into it and putting the spring back on it. It still has now more than 60 degrees here. Good. So I will grease the outer surface a little bit and get the beton one inside. These lips with the spring facing to the crankshaft, and yeah, it is still hot. So maybe interesting for you to know, energy mounting old one is exactly suitable and in the right size to push it in. So and then everything goes easy. Okay, looks good. And bring back the ring in. So, okay. Give it a little push to see it is really proper sitting. Okay, so we are good to go. I will continue now with the bearings for the. I will now continue with the. I will now continue with the bearings on the crankshaft from the flywheel side. So first the small one, it should fit easily. If not, you can give it a little push. Okay. So the Lima bearing ring is already on. Now the next ones are going on to the place. So also they are very hot, so be careful to put them straight on. They should be easily fitting, a little bit turning. So, and then give them just a little bit push. So both sides are now sitting on. So this crankshaft is done. I will go for the other one, but this is still warm. So cleaning the surface a little bit more. Putting it here. Suit. So and then it should be so easily on as well. Still hot. Yes. Oh. Okay, so turning. So it's sitting good. Pressing a little bit down. Now it's sitting already good. Good to go. This crankshaft will go back into the freezer because we later will pull it into the crankcase and crankcase energy bearing. So and therefore it's a little bit better if it's still cooled down compared to the other one. So this goes back. The next thing is to change the drive side bearing and sealing. Probably many people of you have done it already, so I will not make special explanation on that. Maybe interesting for you, you can use your mounting puller and pulling with another mug housing, in this case I'm using an old one, and then easily get out. You can preheat a little bit the case, it doesn't need much, and then you easily, without hammering and without worry to destroy anything, you can easily get this bearing out. So, see. Bring the bearing in when it comes from the freezer. It's the same situation. You can put a little bit greaser on this. You will clean up this area. So if you have compressed air, better. I will use it later. So I pulled it now in. As every case is different, you cannot say if you are already down and you haven't with this enough force to break the other side. So do it until this bearing has almost the same height of the surface. Have a double check, and maybe just taking the ring and give the last one a little push. You hear it from a tone that when the bearing is actually touching the case. So I will clean up now and preparing the upgraded bearing secures and sealing deck. And well, then we step in forward. So bringing the ring now inside. The spring side should facing toward the crankshaft, so it goes this way. Okay, you can pre-push it, and then my universal tool for bearings and such O-rings and sealing rails is the old energy mounting. It's perfectly fitting, and you can, if you see, you have to push it a little, otherwise even the old one on top, giving it a little push, and you are good to go. Cleaning up, compressed air. Like that. To tighten up the screws, I first go the way by hand and the rest with the torque wrench, and I go in a few steps. So first below 9 to have clear and over cross that the O-ring, here I have already the pre-torque, here I have the pre-torque as well, so here now as well. So here I just have now all over 7, so I went 7, and now I will go all the way to 11, and as I use some glue, I will go to 11.8. Cluck. So, and again over cross. Okay, and again over cross. And the last one. Okay, so job done. Cleaning up, putting away the small layer of silicone, and we upgraded the drive side cover to a special one, a Viton ring, and we put a new bearing with a C-free tolerances and half side sealed as well. That should be good. Next step is to bring out of the freezer drive side crankshaft of the Chimera kit into it. So I will put away this quality label. So the label, control label is gone. And again here, I will first clean up the surface. Put a little bit of grease into it. It can be grease, even it is later sealed with oil. For the moment, it will help you. So then, give, in any case, just a small blow on it if you have compressed air to be sure that there's no dust or something else there. And then, in a normal way, you install your drive side. So, and now don't push it in. If it's going this hard way, even your crankshaft was in the freezer, don't worry. You have all the tools that are necessary within the engine. And I often see that people are looking for a special puller or anything, but all we will have, it is actually in the engine. So I use this to put it first upside down, and you will feel that the teeth will biting into it, and then by hand I will screw it on. It's barely fitting, so you have just a few threads, and then carefully you can push it in. I will show from a different angle how I do it. So it's a normal sprocket shaft that I'm using, and then blocking the crankshaft of turning. Take care that you're not breaking with a small beam, for instance with a hammer for rotating, and then carefully you can pull in without any further force to the crankshaft by a hammer. So when you have the feeling that you are on the end with the thread, you turn to the other side, you stick it on, and you can continue. And you see here, so it is shooting very carefully again. So here I just see a drop from the crankshaft from the drive side is now in. I hope you can see it. Here you can see now the screw that actually brings two crankshafts together and holds them in position. So you see when you turn, this is blocked. So my advice, as it is a normal M8 screw, push this during this process now in, and put a little M8 on this side, so then you have the situation is not blocking any longer, and you easily can pull it. So as a next point, I will put the bearings into the warmed up fusing housing. And as I said, as a special today, I will try to perform a leak down test just with this crankcase. Yeah. The fusing housing is warmed up in a nice way, not too warm, in a good temperature that you still can burn your fingers, yes, but you can work further. So first, the double-lipped special O-ring that is coming within the kits. I will separate both crankcase sides from the pressure. So also this goes here inside, smooth. Oh yeah, it's still hot, but it's okay. And here, give it a push into position. Okay. Double check if it's all the way down. Cleaning up and getting the bearing out of the freezer. So they are good cold. This I will put just with cleaner into it so that it has a tight sit. So, and as you can see, it goes very easy into it without any pushing. So, and now it's holding tight. So perfect. So then you turn the ring inside. So, and goes this direction into the nut. Perfect. So that is a good thing. So with that, the bearing and the fusion housing is prepared to install it this side. I will let cool it down for a moment so that then I can go further with the installation on the crankcase. The next step is to install the new and longer studs for the fusing housing, and on this position you have to get this short bolt, and I will put it with a drop of glue into it so that this remains in position when you may one day have to open the engine for maintenance again. So this goes here, and it goes down to 13 millimeters. So I will use the calculator and make it to 13 millimeters. A little bit up. Okay, that are 30 millimeters. So you see, you can still just screw it with a and turn it with the hand. So it's a good advice to give a drop of glue into it. So this one, to have it then proper as well. All the threads seems to be very good. So I give to every long bolt a drop of screw glue. So and then they all go in. Job is done. The job is done. And now just with a little bit on with a little bit on grease with no silicone. So I put the gasket just on with grease over the bolts carefully, not to break it. So all the studs until the end. So over here as well. Good. Looking that everything is clean. Okay. So now the fusing housing can be on the top. Just a little bit of grease maybe for the oil seal, because the rest will now run in two-stroke oil. So don't contaminate it too much with grease. Just a small layer of two-stroke oil, maybe it's the best to do now. So, and now the fusing housing goes on top. Double checking everything is cleared, because we don't have any silicone now layer on it. So, and turning while pushing it down. So, and it is on. So we screw it now down. Change the bolt. And as you remember, I will check with that also the surfaces. So as shown in the other part, I'm first just tightening up this screw a little bit more. So I'm checking if the surfaces are parallel, and not even using a feeling guide is obviously that currently this housing is in this direction, so I give it a little push. To give the housing the right position. I will put this away, and another push. So now we have a good situation that they are parallel. So now I'm tightening up this screw, that the position will not change. And then I go for the screws now. To have the situation that all of the bolts will probably push down the fusing housing. Just taking the M7 from the gearbox end plate as a distancer, and putting the nuts on it. So 6, and as here now is no beam, we have here installed the little bolt. Also here goes a little nut, and to find the position you may take a little screw. It's maybe a little bit difficult to get the position, but you will manage. So, and now we will tighten up everything. so that I will just push a little bit. We tied it up here. So this nut, it is a little bit complicated to have torque wrench on it. So you have to do it with your feeling. And now you can tie it up this ones as well. So that you will tie it up later with 21 Newton meters. But now in the progress, I will leave it like this. And now the last one is here below. Now the fusing housing of the Chimera kit is set with one crankshaft in. Now I like to perform a single leak down test. Would now not a problem to install the other side, but if there would be a leakage, I would first have to install the the crankshaft. I have to untighten the clamp, the nuts that has node locks, and that should be all fitting in the first place and not opened and losing again frequently. So I will perform here now with the studs of the cylinder, install the head. I will not put even the piston because for the leak down test it's not necessary. Again here, I will use just grease on the paper gasket and put it on. You may be wondering that I make no tuning work so far, but that is on purpose. I will not make any changes on the transfer ports and everything and make a completely plug and play to see what a plug and play Chimera out of the box just by putting it together will deliver. So means that maybe after that I have to unscrew everything again and then making the work. But for now, it is a do-it-yourself workshop for not tuning. It is a do-it-yourself workshop for building a Chimera twin engine. The Chimera heads have very sharp corners. And if you see, the fins have a little shape as like a knife. So they're becoming more and more thinner from the top, from the bottom to the top. So that is designed this way to have more heat transportation of the barrel. So I will now connect the exhaust stud as well as the intake. Again, I will just work with a little bit of grease. I like really these monster barrels from the intake design because they have here this kind of sealing situation. So it's like a labyrinth and it's really a good design. Also with the stuffer, it comes directly. So there's no doubt about it. It is a very good performance reach wave intake and I make many tests of it. So I even use it on my more than 70 horsepower bike. It's really good performer. I will use screws from the kit of the monster barrel to fixing the reed wave intake. Completely as standard with any modification. It's good advice to still to put distance on it so that the reed valves are not touching the piston, but unfortunately the ones that I have are not suiting. So, but for me, this test is now important to see if the drive side is working. On this countersunk screws, I would not go to 11. In the end, they just have to hold the carburetors. So 10 is good to go. And as the special on the Monster is that they are just 3 screws. I will take the 2 opposites first. So, and then the last one that goes inside. So, again, you may be wondering why I'm taking this one and not the Chimera ones. That I will show you later, because there, when you're using Monster, there is a good thing. And this trick I will show you in a different part. So I will go now further with the exhaust stud. So I show you the exhaust stud that comes with a racing engine from the 2-in-2 engine exhaust kit from the Chimera. So it's a typical rounding. Also the seal in the Monster kit is round, while you see that this here is not a round shape. So when you're taking this and you see and install it like this, most of the people will say, we cannot leave it like this, and we put this thing away. Leave it. I just can tell you, leave it. This kicker in the mid-range will give you extra torque. Believe it or not, it will do. I make many dynos and I make these tests. This kicker, don't put away, leave it as it is. Performing the leak down test is the fail. So I make myself the mind up, okay, what in the world can leak so much that I not even get any pressure on it? And then clear. So you have a central screw. So this here is completely open. So that just gets sealed when you put the central knock into it, the central screw into it. So I will put this in with some grease. And then I said, oh yes, you have another outcoming of the screw here. So there is what I explained earlier. There is a O-ring. So I have to put the second half of the crankshaft inside as well to perform the leak down test. That gives me no visibility on the seal, but we can see if we can perform it with the other stuff. So interesting to see, and lessons learned for me as well. You see, I put the screw in there. I put the second crankshaft without any clamp there to make the central screw fixings, and the O-ring is sealing against the crankshaft. So, and now we will see what is going to happen. Better, but we have leakage. There we have leakage. Wow, that is surprising. So we're starting with a lot of leakage at the studs for the cylinder. That is interesting. And that is a lot. That is really a lot. Then a Klassiker on the exhaust strip as well. And I will make a test on the inlet as well. So let's see if the intake area is more sealed. Nope. There is a lot of leakage as well. And one thing we can say, this leak down test with just grease on paper seals is a completely fail. So what is really surprising is that the studs of the cylinder are completely leaking. And well, from the MAC housing, that surprisingly look good. Yeah. So, and I will have a double check how's the drive side. The drive side seal and the upgraded drive there has not a problem. So you can see this has not a problem. Also not if you can see the screw. So these bubbles are just from spraying. They are coming not new. So this is close. That is good. But all the rest, like the exhaust stud and inlet stud and the nuts of the head, well, that has to be done first. Okay, time for a break. So, well, the fazit of today is I didn't reach my goal. Yes, the second part of the crankshaft is in, but just without bearings on this side, without clamber, and without anything. And yes, positive, this side is sealed. The barrel and the studs obviously has a problem. So as this part will turn into much too longer piece, I will make my mind up what will be the next part, maybe how to proceed with a failed leak test at the Lambretta Chimera engine. And, well, I'll let you know. I hope you liked it so far. Please comment. Building an engine not always gets without problems. Even that was really unexpected. And please subscribe. More parts will coming up. And comment what is interesting for you to see as well. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoy it. Well, I'm still laughing, so therefore it is not a disaster. It is just funny to see.